Hello everybody and welcome to the first face reveal on this channel, the Red Devil Report, and uh, player review or player ratings and a review of the game against Everton, in which we drew 2-2 today on the 22nd of February 2025. Probably the first time we've not lost a Premier League game in a while. But yeah, we'll get straight into it, I believe. Here we go. I've got my Word document. If anyone's ever watched one of my videos, which probably not many people have, but I normally use the United Stand player ratings. But today they've added some login thing. I'm not giving them my login. I'm not even that big of a fan of them, especially Mark Goldbridge and the nonsense he spouts out. But yeah, so I've just got a Word document. It's fine, it's easy and visually fine. So I'll go through player ratings first, and I guess as we go along it kind of, you get my opinion on the game anyway. Onana, we'll just start with him quickly. I personally think people are way too harsh on Onana every week. Today is not his worst performance. If anyone's trying to tell you that second goal is his fault, it's not. Maybe should have done better with the little thing. The worst thing he did was a parry for the penalty, which Young wouldn't have got to anyway, and Better was offside, so it wouldn't have mattered. Onana, I'm people would give him a 5. I'm gonna give him a 5. I'd say, so for me 5 is just like slightly below average. 6 is kind of average in football terms anyway, which doesn't really make sense with how ratings should work. But I'm going to give him a 5. He wasn't good by any means. Didn't really do anything wrong kicking wise. Wasn't great at it though, and to be honest, when the team's so poor, I just don't think it's right to be giving everyone 6s. Delit, he can have a 5 as well. One of those play tempted, you know what? No, I think he was worse than Onana. I'm gonna give him a 4.5. I think Delit. I've tried to be quite lenient with Delit. I think he's a better defender than people give him for. But today, like, you can see the golfing quality between someone like him and even like, you watch like Howson for I think that's how you say his name, the Bournemouth centre back, and you don't see the mistakes that Delit gives out. Neither Maguire. And it's just like, you have Mazraoui on the other side, who I'll get to in a minute, who just is obviously a better football player. And it's like, you can't have centre backs in a back three, which is the most important position in terms of build up, because if your centre backs can't pass, the rest of your team isn't getting the ball where they want it. And when you have people who just can't pass, it's I don't know. Defensively, I think he was not as bad as the others. Yeah, I'll bump him back up to a 5 just because I'm about to give Maguire a 4.5 instead, because I think Maguire was worse. That second goal is the epitome of why we are so bad right now. Defensively, I mean, attacking wise, we'll get to that later on. Leaving your man, he was late to get back. He turned too late. Poor getting back, and then to leave Decore for the header. People have been blaming Onana for that. He's made a save, and when you're on the floor trying to get back up, it's hard to kind of spring back up and go for it. Maguire stood there looking at the ball like that, and he's not gone for it, and he's left a free header. Whatever you think, Maguire did not have a good game today. Neither did Delit. The only one out of the three that I'll give anything is Mazraoui. I'll give him a 5.5 because I think that's kind of the best you can give someone. He wasn't great, but he did his job more. Dallo, he's getting a Delit treatment. You know, no, but now that I think of it, Mazraoui was way better than Dallo. He gets an average 6. Don't think he did as much wrong. Dallo just offers nothing. This season he has probably been the worst United player I've seen in the last 5 years. I mean, maybe I'm being reactionary. We've had people like Weghorst and stuff who do nothing, but at least it was a feel good factor. There's no feel good factor with Dallo. It's well, quite depressing because he went from being a incredibly good right back last season to now being a complete failure, and he is the reason we can't. You see it, and I'm going to talk about him as a collective with the wing backs. You see Dallo and what's his name? It's on the screen. DORGU. They'll be in the same position, high and wide, and it's about when Dorgu receives it, he gets a touch, plays a 1-2, gets down the line, gets to the byline, crosses the ball in, and was one of our biggest threats. And that's exactly what Amarin wants from his 3-4-3. But then Dallo gets it, just looks to play back, and if he doesn't look to play back, loses the ball from trying to run into a man. I just don't think he has a future at the team if this is where he's going to play. And with a 3-back, I just don't think he suits any team, to be honest. Dorgu, by the way, I'm giving a 7. Honestly, the best performance I've seen from anyone in the United shirt, bar another 2 players. One, I'd say he played better than him today, but in a long while, we haven't seen people play like him. Wing back, we needed to sign someone really good in that position. Cheap. There was nothing. He was kind of a no risk buy. I mean, people still hate on him as Manchester United, but he's came in and he's positive. He's not scared to take on his man. He's going at people. He's enjoying his football. 7. Could have been an 8 or 9 if we had won the game, just because he was so. Even when we were awful at the start of the game, he was a shining light. But give him a 7 because of other people. Yet again, Agate, I'm gonna give a 7. I think that goal is outrageous, by the way, for him on his left foot, be pinging that. And in the last 25 minutes, you can talk about the first 65 all you want, but when we needed him most, it was Agate and Bruno who were just controlling that midfield. And there's one ball, I can't remember who played it to him, but the ball comes to him on the right hand side, and you're expecting a player like him who can't pass, can't do all that with his feet, whatever people like to say. You're expecting him to just play it back to a centre back and just go somewhere else and hide from the ball. But he turns, he swivels, takes it out wide, and then tries to create a cross. And that's what you need from players late on. And I think he was class in the last 25 minutes. First 65, he wasn't bad, but he wasn't our worst player at all. But just for that last bit and scoring that absolute hunting or a volley, deserves a 7. Casemiro, I'm giving a 5. 5.5. Nah, 5. I'm giving him a 5. Yet again, he can't play for United again. He can't. After last week, we had to just stop playing him. He's one of the greatest players to ever play that defensive midfield position. But when you have Kroos and Modric next to you, it's a lot different having Manuel Ugarte and Bruno Fernandes. Kroos and Modric, they're intricate players who can, I mean, Bruno is one of the best passes I've ever seen of a football at a long distance, but he doesn't do the stuff Modric and Kroos do in the midfield the same way, which is nothing against Bruno. He is an unbelievable football player. We should not be having a go at him after this, but I just think Casemiro, he's lost it. He does the one-touch stuff. He looks scared to play on the ball. He is not technical enough, and he doesn't have the physical capabilities anymore. And I think we need to cut our losses because it can only get worse with him. He's not someone who's going to get better. On to Bruno, 8. In my opinion, first half was one of our worst players in terms of giving the ball away. Gave the ball away so many times and was just losing it. And a few times where he played it to DORGU down that left wing, and you think, well, if he can do that, it's fine. But we don't score from it, and then you think, well, we'd rather just have the ball a bit longer and stop losing, the ball from 5-yard passes. But it's in those last 25 minutes where I think him, Agate, and, well, Dorgu and Garnacho really come to light, even Xerxes, and I give him credit, Cheeto. Players like that transform the game, and that free kick, which I think Pickford maybe should have done better, but it's a great free kick. It's clever, and the fact he quarterbacks, comes back, drops in, thinks I'll take this game by the scruff of the neck, and he ends up going on and drawing it for us. We should have won the game. We had the chances to win the game. Maybe not the shots to win it, but the ball was in the box enough for us to win it. And if we did win it, he would be getting a lot more plaudits, but he deserves them just for what he did anyway. Xerxes, I'm going to give him a 6, like Mazraoui. Really good in the last 25. Don't think he really contributed before that. He was just getting the ball, playing it off, didn't really do much wrong. Højlund is getting the Maguire treatment, 4.5. I tried to defend him for a long time. I think there's a player in Højlund, but when Cheeto came on and won an aerial battle, and Højlund had 60, 70 minutes to do it and didn't win one, there's clear problems with him up front. He needs to learn, and we need a new striker desperately. Yoro came on. I'm telling you, this guy is unbelievable. Yoro, like, it's all the stuff that you want from a centre back, but people don't see it in the same way with a centre back. He comes on, controls the game, plays the ball forward, offers something in the final third, which three centre backs you kind of need. And he just helps a wing back. He made Delo look a tiny bit better in the last 25, or however long he was on for. But I just think he should be starting every week when he's fit again. Well, he is fit now. I hope he starts against Ipswich. There's no way he's not built for United. He's such a good player. On to Garnacho. I am going to give him a 6.5. Why not a 7? I don't think he was as good as Dorgu or Agate. I think Dorgu is actually the reason Garnacho's had a bad the last couple of games. Not as in he's making him bad, but he just refuses to pass at Dorgu. He needs to just learn how to play the overlap. But in terms of actual like play and how like effective he is as a player, you don't get much more effective than Garnacho. Like he goes at people, faces them up. He will take on players, and he will look to get something out of his miss against Spurs. I think says it all with him. Really, he will get into positions. Whether he finishes it or not, you just don't know with him. But he can become something very good. I just think we need to see him more consistent. On to the last player, and I have waffled on a bit here, so I can't see the time on my screen because I've currently got I've got an iPad set up to record because I have my phone on charge here. But it's probably quite a long video. Cheeto though came on and I think was very decent. I'm giving him a 6. People may say, oh well, it's only because he's young, but 17 years old. I mean, he's a year older than me, and if you put me on that pitch, I mean, I'd probably buy a hat-trick, but no, on a genuine, if you put me on that pitch, I would be absolutely bricking it. But Cheeto just looked like he wanted the ball, played it off, won an aerial duel. He was getting in positions. He did the stuff that strikers are meant to do, and I think he did better than Højlund overall. So I think, if we're honest, I think he should probably get a start in the next few games, especially against Ipswich, who we should be expecting to beat. But then we are Manchester United. But overall, I think it's a game of not even two halves. A game of 3/3 to me. Starting third, what are we doing? Like, there was still good play in the first third. That DORGU chance to Højlund, where Højlund didn't get his foot on it. There's chances, but it's like we just can't not concede. Second, third, you think, oh, United, we're a bit, we're 2-0 down and we're kind of static, but there's obviously chances to come. And then the final third of the game, you think, where is this United being? If we play like that all game, all season, then we'd be challenging for top 8. Because we should have scored another goal. Still, what you want about the penalty, I personally don't think it's a penalty. I do think, though, if you're going to give it on field, he should have gave it as a penalty, but I think it was really soft, and Ashley Young is known for diving. And let's be honest, it was a dive. He went down like a sack of spuds. But I just think it's one of those games. Take a point because we've got positives out of that. Bruno, positive. Dorgu, massive positive. A guy, huge positive. Biggest positive for me is Cheeto coming on and showing what he can do. Those 3 subs show exactly what we need from the club, and that's youth and just a little bit of that courage that, does bring success, as they say, in United. However, that's going to be the end of my match review. Anyone disagree with what I said, then just put it in the comments. Feel free to go on my Twitter, which is, I think, Dylan_SMTH, something like that. You'll find me. You can see my face on there. But yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. I am now going to have to struggle to turn it off because I can't see the stop recording button on thingy. But yeah, as I said, like, follow, and you'll see me more. Thank you.